Right before the US Open, one of the biggest names in golf has gone quiet again. No tournament, no tee times, just gone. And this time, the players left grinding through the schedule are not staying quiet about it. Rory McIlroy has skipped events again. That part is confirmed. But here is what nobody is fully saying out loud yet. What is actually driving this decision? And why are his rivals calling it completely unfair? Because unfair is a strong word. These are professionals. They do not throw that word around lightly. Something very specific triggered this reaction, and it goes much deeper than a few missed starts. Here is what makes this situation different from every other scheduling story you have heard before. What his rivals are reacting to is not something anyone expected to become a controversy at all. Personally, I think Rory is smarter than people give him credit for. But smart and fair are two very different things. Drop your take in the comments. Are you with Rory or against him on this one? If you follow the tour every week, subscribe. This channel covers exactly these conversations. What makes this story bigger than a simple schedule choice is the timing. Not just this year, last year too. And the year before, that tells its own story as well. After winning back-to-back Masters titles, Rory walked away from the tour schedule. The Cadillac Championship skipped, the RBC Heritage skipped, the Zurich Classic skipped. 3 events gone, right in the middle of a stretch where every other top player was competing week after week. Then came the PGA Championship. Rory finished 5 shots behind winner Aaron Rai. Not the result he wanted. Most players in that position come back the very next week, hungry and motivated to respond. Instead, Rory announced another 3-week break. No tournament, no competition, no explanation beyond the bare minimum. His return? The Memorial Tournament, 1 event, 1 week before the US Open. Sound familiar? Because in 2025, Rory also skipped the Memorial entirely, the traditional tune-up before the US Open, for the first time in 8 years. 2 years running. Same window, same calculated absence before the same major. Nothing about this pattern looks accidental. Every skip, every gap in the schedule, lands in the exact same position on the calendar, right before the biggest moments of the season. The pattern is deliberate. What he does during those weeks away is where this story gets uncomfortable, and it is exactly what his rivals cannot stop talking about. While Rory removes himself from tour competition, he does not step away from golf. Multiple confirmed reports from 2026 show he made repeated private visits to Augusta National in the weeks directly before the Masters, practicing the course over and over while his competitors were traveling city to city, playing under real tournament pressure. Think carefully about what that means in practice. Scottie Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, and the rest of the field were grinding through back-to-back events, managing fatigue, travel, and leaderboard pressure every single week. Rory was walking Augusta National in controlled private conditions. No crowds, no scorecard, just focused, repeated preparation on the exact course where the major would be played. That level of access is not available to every player in the field. Augusta National does not open its gates for weeks of private rehearsal to everyone. Most tour pros heading into the Masters had seen those fairways once in the past year. Rory had studied every slope, every wind pattern, and every green complex multiple times in the weeks leading directly into the tournament. He won by 2 shots. That victory reframed everything. Because right now, heading into the US Open, the exact same preparation is happening again, this time at Shinnecock Hills. Confirmed reports place Rory at Shinnecock Hills during his 3-week break from competition. Multiple sessions, not a courtesy visit, focused, repeated study of one of the most complex and unpredictable venues in major championship golf. Wind reads, rough testing, green mapping, all of it in private, while the rest of the field prepares by competing in tour events with real pressure and real fatigue. Players who know Shinnecock deeply carry a genuine edge. The course punishes unfamiliarity. The wind alone can turn a prepared player into a confused one if they have not logged enough time reading its patterns. Right now, Rory is building a private blueprint of that venue that no single practice round before the tournament can replicate. This is the moment the word unfair entered the conversation, and it did not arrive quietly. PGA Tour player director Peter Malnati stated publicly that the tour was deeply concerned about elite players skipping events, and that future rule modifications around player involvement may become necessary. When a player director issues that kind of warning in public, the private conversations it reflects are significantly stronger. That statement does not get made unless the complaints inside the locker room have already reached a level that cannot be managed quietly. But the comment that landed hardest did not come from a tour official. Speaking to reporters after a recent event, Tommy Fleetwood did not hide his frustration. He stopped short of a direct accusation, but made his position clear. When some players in the field have spent weeks privately preparing a major venue while everyone else competed through fatigue, calling that a level playing field is very difficult. His words were careful. The meaning was not. That reaction from inside the locker room is what turned a scheduling story into something the tour cannot simply wait out. For years, Rory McIlroy was the loudest voice defending the PGA Tour. He stood at microphones and called out U.S. Open golf publicly, repeatedly. He used words like loyalty, commitment, and responsibility. He argued that the best players in the world owed it to the tour and to the fans to show up and compete. He positioned himself as the man who understood what professional golf needed to survive. Now, those same players who heard those speeches are watching him skip 3 consecutive events, prepare a major venue in private, and return to competition only when the calendar perfectly aligns with his personal plan. Allowed and fair are not the same thing. Under the updated 2025 PGA Tour regulations, top players face no heavy financial penalties for missing signature events. The rulebook technically permits exactly what Rory is doing, but the players showing up every week, competing through exhaustion, travel, and sustained pressure, are walking into the U.S. Open already worn down. Rory is walking in rested, course-ready, and carrying preparation depth the rest of the field simply cannot match through normal competition. At the Cadillac Championship alone, 5 of the world's top 15 players were absent. Fitzpatrick, Schauffele, McIntyre, Oberg, all missing from the same event. Fields are weakening, sponsors are growing impatient, ratings are sliding, and the player who once stood as the public face of the tour's survival is now one of the most visible contributors to its star attendance problem. His rivals are not simply annoyed. They are watching a system being used, legally, precisely, and in a way that gives them no clean argument back. Rory has not avoided the logic of his own approach. He pointed directly to Tiger Woods as the model. Tiger protected his body. Tiger selected his spots carefully. Tiger skipped events without public apology when he believed preparation elsewhere delivered more value. And Tiger won majors at a frequency no one else could approach. The response from inside the locker room to that comparison is pointed. Tiger operated before signature events existed. The $20 million no-cut tournaments that now anchor the tour's entire star power model were designed and financially structured around the promise that elite players would compete in them. Rory was present for those conversations. He understood what the tour was constructing and why that structure depended on names like his appearing in the field. Choosing to step outside that system now, after benefiting directly from the platform, the sponsorship value, and the leverage it produced, is what pushes rivals past frustration and into something harder to dismiss. That is why Fleetwood's comment carried weight, not because one player expressed irritation, because it reflected what a significant portion of the locker room already believes, but most are unwilling to say directly in front of a microphone. Now comes the question everyone watching this situation has been building toward, because the U.S. Open result will either silence this debate or turn it into the loudest conversation in professional golf. If Rory McIlroy lifts the trophy at Shinnecock Hills after skipping events, mapping the course privately, and arriving fully rested while competitors ground through a brutal schedule, the debate does not close. Every player who competed every week, showed up tired, and finished behind him will be asking tour officials a very direct question, and that question will carry Fleetwood's words right alongside it. If he loses, critics will say the strategy failed. That argument will last approximately 1 week before someone points out he already used this identical method to win 2 consecutive Masters titles. The rivals who are frustrated right now understand something important. Rory did not break any rule. He read the system more carefully than anyone else and found the space inside it that nobody had fully used before. Private venue access, controlled rest windows, Physical peak timed precisely to major championships. Legal, calculated, and completely unreachable for the players without the same connections or the same schedule flexibility. Peter Malnati's public warning about future rule modifications was not a throwaway comment. The Tour knows this conversation has a deadline. Whether officials move before or after the US Open result remains the one question nobody has answered. Rory McIlroy did not damage the system. He understood it better than the people running it. And every rival watching from inside those ropes knows exactly what that means for the rest of this season. Honestly, I think the Tour built this problem and handed Rory the blueprint. But knowing that does not make it sit any easier for the players competing against him. That is the debate worth having right now. If this kind of real Tour conversation is what you are here for, subscribe and drop your verdict below. Is Rory a genius working within the rules? Or is this quietly becoming the behavior that hollows out the PGA Tour from the inside?